Our next guest on Bold Business is also in the world of real estate, but on the financing side. He's the CEO of United Wholesale Mortgage, and his name is Matt Ishbia. He's here to talk about the two main approaches for getting a mortgage, going through a broker versus going to your bank. A recent government study showed that almost half of consumers do not shop around before taking out a mortgage, and hardly any consumer is considered more than 3 lenders. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good morning.
Absolutely. So really, people are getting the biggest loan of their life, and they're not shopping around?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, people, you see a big commercial on TV, or you just go to, your bank or whatever it may be, and it's the wrong choice, and they're spending a lot more money, as the CFPB talked about in their study, $13 billion too much right now, just by not shopping. It's so simple. In this world today, you just got to find someone to help you shop.
So where does wholesale mortgage come in then?
So basically, we work with mortgage companies and loan officers throughout the country, and we basically are one of the providers, just like the big banks are, to help them get a mortgage at the right rate, the right turn times, closing on the time when they want to close. And so you got to find a mortgage broker that can actually help you do that, because too often people are just basically saying, I just talk to someone, go to the big commercials with my bank, and you get a higher rate. You get higher
few
fees.
options, right? You offer a whole range of options.
Yeah, we do, along with all the big players that you hear on TV. The difference is you go through a mortgage broker rather than going direct, which seems like counterintuitive. Why would I go to a middleman when I go direct? Actually, if you go direct, you have less options. You only have one set of rules, one set of prices, and this way you get more options. And we're just one of the options. We're not the best one on everyone, but we're the best one for a certain group of people, and then some big banks are the best person for someone else.
So why do you think people don't shop around for a mortgage? I mean, I know from a lot of stories, my mom's secretary, went to go close, and her closing costs were in the stratosphere. And my mother was like, you need to shop around, let me give you a number or something. Why do you think people's, judgment just goes dead when they're making the biggest purchase of their life?
What's hard is because a mortgage is harder to shop for than airline tickets or something because it's more complicated, right? And so people think, I'm just going to go online and shop around, and you can't get a great price or great indication because it's more complicated. You got to get a credit score, you got to get an appraisal, and you got to get a lot more information. And so you're basically just getting the best option that you could be. And then when you get your actual information, it's not as good. And like you said, the closing costs are higher, or the rate's not as good. And you have to get it. You have to shop by going to an expert. I almost use it as thinking about a doctor. To get a knee surgery is like getting a mortgage. You don't go to your general doctor, your bank. You go to a specialist. And your general doctor might give you 3 specialists to choose from, and you pick the right one.
Do consumers automatically, do they assume that their bank, that they have their savings accounts, their checking accounts, and other financial relationship, they're going to get the best price based upon their customer loyalty?
I think that's just the natural thing. A lot of times we found that a lot of millennials, a lot of young people, you ask your parents what to do, and your parents tell you, put 20% down and go to your bank, right? And that's not the way to doing a mortgage anymore. That's the way it was when my parents were getting a mortgage 25 years ago, but that's not the way to do it anymore. And I think the problem is, it's just easy what you assume as you go to your bank, but you're paying more for it, and it's slower, and a lot of times you're not getting approved because you don't have as many options, back to your earlier point.
So interest rates have started to go up, but people are still eager to buy homes, especially millennials. Do you think that shopping around is more important than ever now because interest rates are starting to creep up?
Yeah, it's always important, but yeah, it's even more important now because you might not be able to afford that house if you're paying a quarter point higher. A quarter point higher, you say isn't that much, but it could be thousands of dollars more, and or $50, $100 more a month. Well, that adds up, and so shopping around is really important always, but even now with rates taking up since the election, it's definitely been more of a focus, and I think people are starting to get it, but it's just hard to get people out of that comfort zone of I'll just go online and figure it out myself, when that's not going to get you the best option or the best deal.
So tell us, when you're shopping around, imagine there was a kayak for mortgages right now, and you could have a perfect, way to shop around. What are you looking for? You're looking for rate, you're looking for points, you're looking for closing costs. Are there any other elements you're looking for?
Yeah, you're looking for what specifically you and your family are looking to do. So you're looking for timeline, you're looking for rates, you're looking for costs. Those are the big 3 that I always think about. And then service is always hard because it's everyone says they got great service until you actually work with them, right? But you figure it out as time goes through. So I think going to finding a mortgage broker, which there's websites out there, find a mortgage broker. There's different websites you can go online to find websites to find the right person, and in your local area that can shop at all the big options. You want to find sometimes the big bank is the right option, but finding it through a mortgage broker is the way to do it because they can actually shop on your behalf.
Gotcha.
So, when you go to a mortgage broker, how does the process work? So you sit down and they run your credit. Does that lower your credit score when they run their credit?
No, you got to get your credit score pulled. What you don't want to do is be someone that is, and this is back to why shopping is hard, is you don't want to go to 7 places and have 7 different people pull your credit, because that could impact your credit. And that's why going to one and having one person pull it, and then they shop at the different lenders and different options for you to come back with, here's your 4 options, sir, which one do you prefer? And based on timeline, rate, cost, all those things that we talked about. And so you don't want to get your credit pulled multiple times. If you do that, your credit score could drop, not 1 time or 2 times, but if it starts becoming 3, 4, 5 times, then it could impact, because then they're thinking you're pulling out more credit, which makes your score drop.
Last time I helped a friend, put together a mortgage, one of the shocking things I saw is a lot of the credit scores that we see online from a lot of these services that provide free credit scores are actually very inaccurate. Do you see that a lot, where people come in and are like, oh, my Credit Karma score, sorry, Credit Karma, I'm a member, I didn't mean to bully you, but is an 800, do you see that a lot?
Yeah, because to get a mortgage, and a lot of times when you're getting all 3 credit scores pulled, and it's a FICO score, and it's all 3, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and sometimes those are just 1, and you can see a difference between one of them, 100 points.
Yes.
So one of them says 740, one says 640, another one says 690. Well, your score for a mortgage would be 690, but if you get a Credit Karma and it says 740, you're saying, well, what happened, And so there is a big variance based on the way things are reported and the way they, come up with different things, and so it is not that accurate with 1 score usually.
So, in 1 sentence, your advice before you leave us.
Find a mortgage broker to help you shop for the biggest purchase of your life. Find someone to help you. Don't do it on your own.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.